Have you ever wondered if the past and future are real? I mean, really real, in the same way that this moment right now is real? It's a question that sounds simple, but it opens up a huge philosophical rabbit hole. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most mind-bending ideas in metaphysics, presentism. So, what is presentism? In a nutshell, it's the philosophical position that only the present is real. That's it. The past? It's gone. It existed, but it doesn't anymore. Think about your breakfast this morning. You have memories of it. Maybe there's a dirty plate in the sink, but the actual event of you eating that breakfast is no longer part of reality. According to a presentist, it has ceased to exist. And the future? It's even less real. It hasn't happened yet. It's just a collection of possibilities, none of which have any concrete existence until they become the present. That vacation you're planning for next year? The presentist would say it doesn't exist. The idea of it exists, your hopes for it exist, but the vacation itself is not a real thing. This might sound like common sense, right? Of course, the past is over and the future isn't here yet. We talk like this all the time. But when you start to really think about it, things get weird. This view is in direct conflict with another major theory called Eternalism, which is often associated with Einstein's theory of relativity. Eternalism, sometimes called the block universe theory, suggests that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. Imagine a loaf of bread. Every slice of the loaf exists at the same time, even though you only experience one slice at a time. For an eternalist, time is like that loaf of bread. The moment of your birth, this very moment, and the moment of your death are all equally real, existing as different slices in a four-dimensional space-time block. Our consciousness just moves through this block, creating the illusion of a flowing present. Presentism says nope, that's wrong. There is no block universe. There is only the now, a single, ever-changing slice of reality. The universe isn't a pre-written book. It's a story being written in real time, one word at a time. This feels much more intuitive, doesn't it? It aligns with our deep-seated feeling that the present moment is special and that we have genuine free will to shape an open future. If the future already exists, what's the point of making choices? Let's break down the main arguments for presentism. First, there's the argument from our direct experience. We only ever experience the present. We remember the past and we anticipate the future, but our actual conscious awareness is always rooted in the now. The now feels fundamentally different, more vivid and real than any memory or projection. Presentism takes this feeling seriously and says, you're right. The present is special because it's the only thing that's real. Then there's the argument from change. How can things truly change if the past and future are just as real as the present? If you're a child in one part of the space-time block and an adult in another, have you really changed? Or are you just different versions of yourself existing in different locations in time? Presentists argue that for genuine change to occur, for something to go from one state to another, there must be a single reality that is evolving. The future must be open for it to be created, and the past must be gone for change to have truly happened. This also ties into the idea of free will. If you believe your choices matter, and that you can genuinely affect what happens next, you're probably leaning towards presentism. In a block universe where the future is already laid out, your feeling of making a choice is just an illusion. You're simply playing out a role that was written into the fabric of space-time from the beginning. For a presentist, the future is a realm of pure potential, and your choices are what make one of those potentials actual. This gives our actions real weight and significance. But presentism isn't without its own set of serious problems, and this is where it gets really interesting. One of the biggest challenges comes from modern physics, specifically Einstein's theory of relativity. Relativity tells us that there's no universal now. The simultaneity of events, what is happening at the same time, depends on your frame of reference, on how you're moving. Here's a thought experiment to illustrate this. Imagine two spaceships, A and B, flying past each other at a very high speed. Let's say two lightning bolts strike the front and back of spaceship A at the same time, according to an observer on spaceship A, but for an observer on spaceship B, because of the effects of relativity, those two lightning strikes will not appear to be simultaneous. One will happen before the other. So, what is the present in this scenario? Is it what observer A experiences, or what observer B experiences? They can't both be right about what constitutes the single, objective present moment, yet physics says both of their measurements are equally valid. This is the relativity of simultaneity, and it's a huge headache for presentists. If there's no single, universal now, then the whole idea of a privileged present moment that constitutes all of reality seems to fall apart. This leads many physicists and philosophers to favor the eternalist block universe model, where now is just a subjective label. Another major problem is explaining how the present relates to the past. If the past doesn't exist, how can it have any effect on the present? Why does the world have the structure it has? We explain the present by appealing to past causes. The Grand Canyon exists because of millions of years of erosion by the Colorado River. But if those past years of erosion don't exist anymore, what is the truth maker for that statement? What makes it true that the past was a certain way? Presentists have to come up with some clever answers here. Some suggest that the present moment contains traces of the past, or that there are abstract, timeless truths about what the past was like. For example, the fact dinosaurs roamed the earth is a timeless truth, even though the dinosaurs themselves no longer exist. But this can get complicated. Are these truths or traces real things? If so, are we just replacing an existing past with a different kind of existing entity? It's a philosophical puzzle. The same issue applies to the future. How can we make meaningful statements about the future if it doesn't exist? When a scientist says, "The sun will rise tomorrow," what makes that statement true today? For an eternalist, it's true because the event of the sun rising tomorrow already exists in the block universe. For a presentist, it's much trickier. They might say it's true because the current state of the universe, governed by the laws of physics, makes it inevitable. But again, this relies on the present containing all the necessary information to determine the future, which isn't always a given. So, where does this leave us? On one hand, presentism perfectly captures our intuitive sense of time, change, and free will. It feels right. It makes our lives and our choices feel profoundly meaningful. It paints a picture of a dynamic, unfolding universe that we are actively helping to create. On the other hand, it seems to clash with one of the most successful scientific theories in history, the theory of relativity. It also struggles to explain how a non-existent past can cause the present, and how we can know anything about a past that has vanished entirely. The debate between presentism and eternalism is one of the most active and fascinating areas in contemporary philosophy. There's no easy answer. Some philosophers are working on new versions of presentism that might be compatible with relativity, while others are trying to reconcile our feeling of free will with the block universe. Ultimately, thinking about presentism forces us to confront the fundamental nature of reality itself. Is time a flowing river, or a frozen landscape we're walking through? Is the universe a finished book, or a story still being written? Presentism champions the latter view. It tells you that this moment right now is everything. It's the cutting edge of existence, the only place where anything ever truly happens. The past is a ghost, a collection of memories and echoes, and the future is an unwritten promise. All we have, all that is real, is the now. What do you think? Does presentism make sense to you, or does the block universe of eternalism seem more plausible? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It's a mind-bending topic, and I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoy wrestling with these big ideas, be sure to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.